am David Harris Jr. And hey, you're still here. The eclipse has come and gone, and nothing catastrophic has happened. No black hole opened up by CERN. Jesus didn't come back. It's a good day. It's a good day, a very good day. And I'm very thankful that you're taking a little bit of time to watch my show. Well, friends, a disturbing video from Dearborn, Michigan, dubbed the jihad capital of the United States, where anti-Israel activists were heard chanting, "Death to America." Watch.
الموت لأمريكا! الموت لأمريكا! الموت لأمريكا! الموت لأمريكا! الموت لإسرائيل! الموت لإسرائيل!
Speakers at the rally proclaimed that America, the American system, quote, does not deserve to exist on God's earth. Well, maybe their God, little g, God, not the creator of the universe, not my God, the God of the Bible. With my God, the God of the Bible, he says we absolutely need to be here, and that's the exact reason why our founders gave us the Constitution, the Declaration, and honored the creator of the universe as much as they did. So if these people are wishing for the death of America, why are they even here? Joining me now to discuss is the founder of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy and Middle East policy expert, Zuhdi Jasser. Zuhdi, my brother, thank you so much for joining me today. Is this what's going to happen? They're already here. They're in America. You know, Dearborn, Michigan is dubbed the jihad capital of the United States. This didn't happen overnight. And from what I've seen in other countries, it's only going to continue to grow and grow and grow until it gets to a place where they do want to go, you know, do jihad against Americans and try to, you know, institute their Sharia law underneath Allah. What's happening here?
Well, you know, listen, Dave, it's great to be with you, and thanks for having me on. And, you know, I'll tell you, I'm a devout Muslim, and for those who've been following my work, we've been trying to expose the fact that these are Islamo-fascists. These are supremacists. This is not a small problem. The reason you have the Iranian theocrats working with the Hamas radical terrorists, because you've had a coalescence of a red-green axis. Just like in Congress, you have the Ilhan Omars and Rashida Tlaibs working with the AOC. Globally, you have the Irans of the world working with the Chinese Communist Party, the Venezuelans, and others. So together, they've been attacking America. The West needs to be saved. We have for long been playing defense, and it's time that we play offense. And we've been, as a Muslim, I've been working against the Islamists. We're trying to educate the West to say, listen, there is no such a thing as Islamophobia. Theocratic Islam is a major problem. A quarter of the world's population believes in this, and we've had unvetted immigration. My parents came to America legally. They got political asylum away from the Assad regime, away from the Baathists and all the other dictators in the Middle East, and celebrated American religious liberty so that they could practice their interpretation of their faith more freely here than they could anywhere in the world. And to me, there's nothing more pro-Muslim or pro-Palestinian than calling for the decimation of Hamas, calling for them to surrender, to hand over the hostages. And right now, there's a study that just came out, Dave, that said that 45%, now that's not a majority, but 45% of Lebanese and Palestinians and Egyptians and others, Arabs, are calling for the surrender of Hamas. Now, that's a minority. It should worry us about the majority, but it's still not 100%.
No, I think that should concern us. I mean, what took place? I mean, we just crossed the 6-month anniversary. It's horrible to have an anniversary of the invasion into Israel, where the massacre took place. The videos that we've seen of the music festival, where there were just bodies everywhere, and then everything else that we've heard. I've had personal friends, Victor Marks, that went over twice into Gaza. They're to support families. They're to support Palestinians. They're to support Israelis. They're to support the children. For anybody to not want to call for the absolute surrender and destruction of Hamas. I mean, these are terrorist, vile animals that are just, in my opinion, driven by pure evil and hate. And yet, in my opinion, I see this same type of rhetoric coming from these people in Dearborn, Michigan. Am I wrong?
No, and the Democrat Party has given them a home in that they're not calling for daily. The president should be from his bully pulpit, and the rest of the Democratic leadership should be calling for the surrender of Hamas. But you never hear that from their statements and from the weak the weakness and appeasement that they're giving. And unfortunately, that's why we've seen radicalization. And this speaker, the speakers in Dearborn, they also quoted Malcolm X. They also quoted folks from the Nation of Islam and others that were part of the Black Lives Matter movement. So we've seen this radicalization escalating year after year from the radical communist socialists on the left to the radical now Islamists that are coming together to destroy our country. And this is why we need a sealed border, why we should have people get asylum before they come here, not after they get here. And the destruction of the institutions of what is and what is not America is at stake here. And we need to have a strategy. We need to be in offense. I mean, I remember fighting back against the Islamists constantly during the Iraq War and during Afghanistan. And I used to tell them, what is more just than the war we're doing in Afghanistan? Clearly, Al-Qaeda attacked us from there. And you know that this is rank anti-Semitism now against Israel because this is just so much orders of magnitude more than what the United States faced when we invaded Afghanistan, and not across our border where they came in and did pogroms door to door against the Jews. And this is not, we're not hearing the narrative in response. Instead, just silence from the left and the company they keep with the Hamas caucus.
Yeah, and it pretty much seems to me like I'm sure they love Joe Biden. They'd love to see a second Joe Biden term because the border's wide open. In your opinion, in the last little bit of time here, in your opinion, do you think that the absolute way that Joe Biden, the border czar, Kamala Harris, the rest of the Democrats have basically turned a blind eye to the porous flood of illegal immigration, which we have no idea how many of them are actually terrorists that want to come in and do our country harm. Do you think that it was by accident, or do you think it was more intentional on the Democrats in their mindset? As somebody who's dedicated my life to, I served 11 years in the Navy, to see what's happening now to this country as a result. It's not just blind eye. It's not just negligence. It is intentional destruction. It is suicidal operations by letting our border flood in with folks that we don't know. Most of them are not from Mexico. They're from China, from jihadi countries, et cetera, to destroy us. It's only a matter of time before another act of terror, because what we see in Dearborn or elsewhere, radicals that are radicalized. And I have an 8-point plan about the border that I hope to effect if in our election. And people should go to Z4AZ.com to see what a real plan that can go through Congress can do. Well, I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate your perspective. We have different faiths, but I know both those faiths honored Jesus Christ, and so I appreciate that, Zuhdi. Zuhdi Jasser, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that we get to see that 8-point plan, and I know it's going to take a President Donald Trump in order to even make that a possibility. Otherwise, it's only going to get worse. Zuhdi, thank you so much for joining me, sir. God bless you. Anytime. Thanks for having me, David. God bless.